You're listening to the Vanadium Registry. In days of yore, during an era lost to antiquity, there was a guild of blacksmiths that were gifted in the art of creating improbable contrivances. Inventors of tools, instruments, and devices alike, the smiths were crafters of what shouldn't have been, and malefactors of what came to be. With their last invention, the blacksmiths created a new form of technology, unlike anything their realm had seen at their time. For their creation traversed beyond human jurisdiction and sourced a power from two unseen domains. One celestial, the other numerical. However, the dualistic forces opposed each other, so the blacksmiths formed a hardware that united the powers and contained them in a vessel of clay, metal, and precious stone. The system spoke a binary language, but beat the heart of a thaumaturgical core. At first, the invention transformed the lives of the people for the better. But from comfort came conflict, and from conflict came war, and from an ancient war came an ancient legend. A legend of mythical weaponry. And now, Recollection Report 4. The Escorts of an Erroneous Escape. "1,456. It's the number of days since I've seen my parents, since they renounced their parental rights to me, since I became a child of Vazalian order. For the past 4 years, my life had been a cold cycle contained in a miserable building where me and other unreformed youths followed a program that guaranteed meals, dormitories, rehabilitative training, and the promise that someday we would be reintroduced into society. But that hope had long faded, and their words were lies. We didn't eat in the program, we starved. And we didn't sleep either, because the facility was just too loud. Someone was always screaming a deathly cry so fiercely that their shrieking pierced walls that should have been soundproof. But even louder than the screams were the silences after they stopped screaming. Not from comforting efforts, but an abrupt silence that left a deafening hush. A mournful quietude that whispered questions like, why did they stop screaming? Who stopped them? Am I next? Within those long moments, it made you wonder if your very thoughts were too loud and could be heard, or worse, would offend. Counseling and vocational work were just excuses for the guards to beat us, and for the educators to humiliate and shame us as an outlet for their own personal problems. So I was happy when I was transferred. I didn't even know that that was possible in the program. They called it graduation. They even said that I wouldn't have to spend my 14th birthday there. I actually thought that my torment was finally over. But I was simply moved from one cage into a far worse one. There, I was a renounced child. Here, I'm a registered forge.
"And what are you waiting for? Get in,"
ordered a guard as he shoved me inside my cell. Tripping on my own feet, I barely escaped getting caught in my cell door as it locked behind me. But I don't move. I wait like I always do, and listen to all of the other layers of security resetting. The guards moving from their places across the floor, lasers re-engaging, codes being typed in, more doors sealing, elevators leaving, lights turning off, a mechanical hiss, a crackling hum, and 2 other sounds that I can't make out. After hearing the final line of defense, I make my way to the middle of my cell, bring one leg to my chest, and close my eyes. Not to sleep, but to heal and to forget another day of being here. My mental escape waned when I heard a whispered argument in the corner behind me. "What are you doing?" "I just want to say hi." "No, you know what? No, stop." I quickly turned to see whoever was in my cell. I found two faces around my age. One belonged to an angelic-looking boy, with his eyes covered by a sheer band of fabric loosely tied around his head, while the other belonged to a girl slightly taller than him. "Who are you?" I asked as I scurried away from them. The two instantly froze in place, as if being still meant that I can no longer see them. "Who are you?" I repeat. This time, the girl slowly turned to face me. She looked as shocked as I must have. Well, we're your new roommates," she lied, while fidgeting with her forearms. "We don't get roommates here." Quickly dismissing her lie, I looked to the boy to see if he would tell the truth. But he just answered with a quiet smile. Maybe this is what they were talking about, I thought, as I recalled a conversation I overheard where a soldier said something about an exam to uncover a forge's breaking point. It made sense now. "Let's just get this over with," I said, as I rose to my feet. Whoa, okay, listen. I'm not even supposed to be here. They ambushed me. They think I'm someone else. I'm like some criminal or something," confessed the girl, clearly afraid and not wanting to fight me. "You're not here by mistake. None of us are." I remained skeptical. "And they're not after..." Before I could continue, the meal light lit up as a single box was sent into the room. My hunger made me forget about any danger they could pose to me in that moment. "Okay, what is that?" The girl asked cautiously. "It's breakfast. Or dinner. I don't know," I said, as I tore the lukewarm cardboard, freeing the trapped fumes. "Oh, ew." The girl reeled, shielding her nose. That smells like dog food." But her friend seemed intrigued and hungry like me. "I guess they're punishing you two for something. That's why they didn't send you a meal," I informed from personal experience. It was a common tactic in the reform program. But before taking a bite, I paused. They don't seem to know why they're here. And they do look hungry, I reasoned to myself. "Here," I said, separating the meal 3 ways. "Oh, no thanks. I'm not hungry." Another lie. "How about you?" I asked a friend, who's actually remained silent until now. "Are you hungry? Believe me, you're gonna wish you ate something later." Yeah," he agreed softly.
Come on, let's eat. She seems all right,"
he said to his friend, while pulling at her hand and causing her to bend closer to his height. He whispered a few more things to convince her in her ear. It worked because, although with a frown, she agreed and they joined me on the floor. "So, what are your names?" My name's Mira," the girl answered, as if I wouldn't believe her. But the boy didn't answer. He simply ate the food as Mira placed it in his hands. "Yeah, he won't tell me his name either." "You don't know his name? I thought you two were friends." "Well, yeah, but I'm really just waiting with him." "Waiting?" "Yeah, he's waiting for someone, and I told him that I wait with him, so he goes everywhere with me now," she said simply as she guided his hands to another bite of food. I felt bad for them. I used to wait for my parents to come get me too. They must not know that they've been renounced and reported as forges. "So what do you call him? Do you know the old cartoon Finley?" "Finley? the friendly ferret? That weird one that's been around forever?" "It's not weird," she defended. But yeah, Finley. He has a sidekick named Vin, so he lets me call him Vin. Vin and Vin, I said to myself, recalling the times that I'd watched the duo's heroic antics on my broken TV, and how my ears would hurt from the distorted audio struggling to muffle the sounds of my parents fighting violently in the kitchen.
What's your name?
Vin asked, breaking my train of thought. My name's Hazel, I said, for the first time in over 1,456 days. Okay, it's time to go, Vin, Mira said, after finishing her meal.
Go? Where are you going? You two can't leave.
Why not? Because I couldn't believe that I had to explain why. Because this is a high-security archipelago. What, you haven't noticed? I say, causing her to look around our cell as if she's just realizing that we're in prison.
Okay,
but we're still leaving, she shrugged matter-of-factly. Come on, Vin.
Do you want to come with us?
Vin asked me. No, not another one of your ideas, Mira cried, exasperated.
Oh, come on, Mira.
Yeah, 'cause you're the reason why I'm in here, Mira accused. This seemed to reopen a familiar topic as they started arguing back and forth. Look, you two need to sit down and stop talking like that. If anyone hears you, they won't stop at not giving you a meal, okay? Vin, Mira said through her teeth, this time seriously. With a sigh, Vin raised his hands like a conductor, and with a gentle swipe of 2 fingers at her neck, lines of golden thread wrapped around her collar, causing it to deactivate and fall to the floor with a metal thud. Woo, that's better, Mira said, stretching widely as if she's getting fresh air. What? I watched in shock as Mira removed her remaining shackles. Motioning through the air, a flowing blob of metallic liquid formed as it glided to her wrists and ankles. First, an icy frost coated the metal bands until they ignited and fell to the floor. How did you do that? I couldn't believe what I'd just seen.
I'm a forge.
She shrugged nonchalantly.
Are you sure you don't want to come with us? We can get you back to your family,
Vin said, as his collar dissolved from around his neck. My heart dropped at his offer. Family. What was I getting excited for? I have nowhere to go. I tried searching for the right words to explain my situation, but they never came to me.
You can stay with me,
Mira said, as she wrapped an arm around my shoulder. She must have realized why I couldn't answer. But your parents. There's a vacant house near where I live. It's my home away from home. Vin and I hang out there all the time. Why don't you wait for your parents there with us? Really? Okay, yeah. Let's do it. Vin, do you think you can take my collar off too?
Uh-huh,
Vin answered, smiling brightly as he readied himself to remove my collar. And just like Mira's, my collar fell to the floor powerless over me. Finally freed, I could feel my powers rush back into my veins as the numbing weight left me. Okay, so how are you two planning to leave? Well, it's too dangerous to take you the way we were gonna go. Do you know another way? She asked Vin. Yep, Vin answered plainly as a pillar of threaded energy blasted down my cell door. As expected, sirens immediately rang throughout the facility. Okay, that's not what I meant, Mira criticized. Well, it's too late now, come on, I said, as we ran out of our cell. According to the sounds that I heard, I already knew of the several layers of security, so before Mira or Vin tried breaking down one of the false doors, I stopped them. Tentatively, I approached its nearby wall. Within the obsidian glass, I looked at my reflection staring back at me, as my irises became chromed rings of red and silver, moving clockwise like fateful gears. Claiming the current surging around us, I called to the magic fueling the technology in the building, causing it to shut down the wall's defenses, deactivate the lasers, and open a path before us. As Mira and Vin go through first, I duplicated myself so that 2 of me stayed behind to keep the oncoming guards busy as we entered the stairwell. "Okay, which way, left or right?" I asked as we faced dual staircases. "Left."
Right.
I watched in disbelief as the 2 of them began arguing again. They couldn't even agree with our lives on the line. "Okay, enough, we're taking the right," I said as I blocked off our path behind us with a grid of rippling energy. "Oh, come on," I said to Mira, who's shaking her head at my decision. As we raced up to the exit, Mira and Vin told me all about the vacant house, how much fun we'll have there, and how they've even named the house in honor of Finley's workshop. But they started disagreeing on how accurate the vacant house was to Finley's. But I didn't mind. Sounds of their bickering was beginning to feel normal to me. After a few flights of stairs, we reached the exit. But instead of being outside, we entered a long lobby where we were met with 8 massive robots, each adorned with gold, faced with porcelain, and fleshed with marble and granite. Mightily they looked down at us as they stepped off their plinths and blocked us from our freedom beyond the lobby's glass doors. Imitating the androids, I stepped in front of Mira and Vin and began taking control of the mountainous robots. But before I could finish, an army entered from outside and surrounded us.
"Surrender now or we will open fire,"
ordered the commander, who stood behind the gilded robots. Carefully, I glanced behind me at Mira and Vin, who were both ready to fight alongside me. But when I looked forward again, my eyes blurred at all the lasers pointed at me. "Do you guys think you can get out without me?" I whispered to them. "We aren't leaving you," Mira said stubbornly. "No, then this'll all be for nothing. I can draw their fire, while you 2 take the path you spoke about before. You already said that I couldn't go with you that way."
"Wait, why don't we just fight them? We can win,"
Finn said confidently. "Hazel, why don't we—" Mira began.
"Answer! Deactivate your powers and surrender now!"
the commander yelled. Focusing on our freedom beyond the commander, I calmly lowered my hands, signaling my surrender. Seeing this, the commander ordered a soldier to carefully approach me with a collar. Using this time, I finished taking control of the androids and directed them to attack the army. An explosive chaos erupted. "Go!" I urged. Mira opened her mouth to argue with me, but I stopped her. "Finley's workshop," I said, with a hopeful smile. "I'll meet you guys there." "You promise?" Mira asked. "Yeah, I promise." It was my turn to lie. "Okay. Come on, Vin. No, come on, Vin. She said she'll meet us there. Come on." As Mira dragged him away, Vin didn't turn his face from me. Because he knew. He knew that I lied. With Mira and Vin disappearing amongst the chaos, I summoned the energy from the room, draining most of the soldiers of their weapons' power and causing a momentary blackout, leaving the only source of light to come from the glass doors. Just like that, darkness transformed the lobby into something truly eerie as the moonlight cast a silvery haze into the room. A room, once filled with battle, shuddered in silence as everyone was too aware of the dangers of speaking and revealing their location. Slowly, I moved to where a pillar should have been, hoping for a better form of cover, but I accidentally reached for a soldier's hand instead.
"Forge at my 11,
reported the soldier as he grabbed my arm and lit a flare illuminating the room with an artificial sun. I tried running to the glass doors, but the guards tackled me to the ground. I began focusing back to my control over the androids, but a soldier slammed my face into the lobby floor and snapped a collar on me extra tightly. The following days were strangely quiet, but I paid attention, like I always do. Security was heightened, cells were reassigned, and a crueler fleet of soldiers were positioned on specific floors. Everyone seemed tense and afraid, but I don't think it's because of me, because when I listen from my cell, I overhear rumors of a girl and a boy who were seen on a single frame of security footage escaping the archipelago. But neither were recognized in their databases as captured forges.
The Vanadium Registry is a Studio Imbe production. This show is written and performed by Asia Ansley. Original soundtrack, mixing, and video editing are also by Asia Ansley. Likewise, all artwork and cover art are by Asia Ansley. Learn more about the Vanadium Registry and view the series at our website, imbe.studio. The Vanadium Registry is a listener-supported production. If you've enjoyed this episode, please consider supporting us on Buy Me a Coffee and by sharing our work. Thank you.